There are many great verses in the Quran which highlight this relationship. And one needs to understand that the most important aspect in the life of a Muslim, after declaring the oneness of Allah and after believing in Almighty Allah, the most important aspect is the way he carries out his marital life, is how he fulfills responsibilities in his marital life, with his whether he's fulfilling the spousal rights and whether he is carrying out the relationship or not. So it's very important for them to consider that, because that is what the entire Muslim society is based upon. The mother and the father, they raise up the children to become good Muslims, and if they are having no terms between themselves and or broken terms, and they are not fulfilling their responsibilities of each other, and they're not fulfilling the rights of each other, then that would mean that they are unable to bring up the society and the children who can then become proper Muslims. So it's very important that they realize. That's why Almighty Allah mentioned in the Quran that Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O believers, protect yourself, stay away yourself, and also protect your family from the fire, whose fuel will be وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةِ, the human beings and the stones. So they will be used to fuel the fire of the hell once in the life hereafter. So protect yourself and your family. So meaning that it is a mutual responsibility of the parents. So not only to protect themselves from disobedience of Almighty Allah, but also to protect the family, the children that they're raising. Almighty Allah mentions, highlighting the importance of the role of the father and role of the husband in the family and marital life. He says, الرجال قوامون على النساء. The man, the rijal, they have been made qawwam over the women. The word qawwam is very significant. Qawwam basically means a pillar. A pillar. Now this pillar is becoming the reason of basically keeping this roof intact. So it is holding the roof above itself. So this is qawwam. So الرجال قوامون على النساء, meaning that the men are responsible for basically keeping the women upright, whether they're financial matters and social matters and matters within marital matters, all of that, they are responsible for that. And qawwam is a very significant word in that this is derived from qawm. And qawm is something, qawm has a wider meaning now. Qawm can also mean a community who are living together, they are interlinked together, they fulfill the rights of each other. So they are qawm. When they are considerate of each other's rights and responsibilities and respects, and they honor each other and they respect the rights of each other, then they become a qawm. Then they become a community. They are termed as qawm because they live together in the most appropriate way. Similarly, qawwam comes from the same root word, meaning that when a rajul is qawwam, meaning that he is the one who takes the responsibility of keeping them both together. So he has a greater responsibility of making sure that the marital life runs successfully and without any troubles. Secondly, you might notice that the qawwam is a word which is derived from the word qima. Qima. Qima वो जो खाते हैं बोला नहीं, ये कीमा जो है, कीमत जो है Arabic में, the value, that's the meaning of कीमा. So ये ना हो कि घर जाके कीमा बनाना शुरू कर दे वाइफ से, वो बात भी ठीक है, वो ज़रूरी है, लेकिन this is much more wider than that. कीमा, the value of something, so it's derived from that word कीमा, कीमत. In other words, the value that you place on something. So qawwam means the rajul is someone. Rijal, they have a responsibility of valuing their wives. When they will do that, when they will place value upon their wives, and they will see everything that the wives are doing with the eyes of gratitude, then only they will place value upon that. And if they only make them think insignificant and untrustworthy and not needed and unimportant, then they are not placing any value upon them. And they're not basically paying gratitude to all what they're doing. So when this will happen, when they treat them well, that's why on more than one occasion, Al-Qadriyyah repeatedly advised the Ummah that always take my advice with regards to the wives and women, that treat them well. Because when you will treat them well, they will return the same, and that's how the society will flourish. So that, although I'm not giving a one-sided opinion now, I will talk about the responsibilities of wives as well. What they need to do when it comes to their role in the marital life. Al-Rijalu Qawwam. Qawwam means someone who keeps the things intact. And let me remind you of a great sifat of Almighty Allah, which He mentioned in Surah Ayatul Kursi, very famous verse that everybody knows, mashallah, that Allah la ilaha illa Hayyul Qayyum. Allah is the one who's Hayy and He is Qayyum. Qayyum means someone who sustains the universe. He is sustaining the universes. So He has chosen this title for Himself, that He is Qayyum, He is the sustainer of everything. Which is true, that He is the one who sustains everything, and He is the one who is keeping everything intact. Similarly, from the same root word comes the word Qawwam. Qawwam, which is a sigha of mubalagha, meaning that it has emphasis placed inside Qawwam. So the rajul, the man, is meant to be Qawwam, meaning that he is sharing the same sifat with Almighty Allah. Just like Almighty Allah declared Himself to be the Qayyum for the samawat and ard. And Qayyum is one of the ulama of Ma'rifat, they say, the awliya kiram say that Qayyum is one of the Asma'i Azam. If you're looking for Ismi Azam, that Qayyum, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum is Ismi Azam. But that only becomes Ismi Azam when you read that with full belief and Iman. And that is acquired obviously through the hard work that awliya kiram used to do throughout their lives. Once you have purified yourself, and then you chant the word Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, then that becomes Ismi Azam. So Qayyum is the most beautiful name of Almighty Allah. He chose that name for Himself because He is the one who sustains everything that's in the universe. So He's the sustainer basically of the entire universe, and all the matters, they are within the control of Almighty Allah. So similarly, the Rajul is meant to be Qawwam for the family and for the wife as well. And the Nisa, the word Nisa has been used. Nisa doesn't simply mean the wife. Nisa includes other women in the family as well, the mother, the sisters, the daughters. So Rajul is meant to be Qawwam for all of these. So he is meant to fulfill the rights of each single of them. And he needs to balance the rights. Now when it comes to the friction between the wife and the mother, which is the most common in our society nowadays, I keep hearing the stories, and being an imam, people come up to me regularly and they tell me what's happening in the families. So I have to address that. So that's why I brought up this topic. That while a man is meant to be Qawwam, that means Qawwam ala nisa, all the women of the family. While he needs to fulfill the rights of his wife, he needs to also be mindful of the rights of the mother and the sisters and the daughters as well. So and other nisa as well. So he needs to be Qawwam in a way that he needs to sustain all these relationships, because he is sharing this great significant sifat with Almighty Allah. He is sustainer of the universe, and he is Qayyum, and man is Qawwam, which is sharing the same root words with the great sifat of Almighty Allah. So he is Qawwam in a way that he is meant to be the sustainer of the relationships. When he will do that, then that will make way for the flourishing of the society. So that is one thing that we need to highlight, that Qawwam means sustainer, while also means someone who places value upon the relationship, but that also means Qawwam, who is sustaining the relationship. So he needs to take things in hands, and he needs to fulfill the responsibilities and the rights of the wives for them to be able to live together. That's one-sided viewpoint, that the man has to fulfill all the rights. But then there are other side as well. The women, they have responsibilities too, which the Quran also highlights. Quran mentions that the walidat, the mothers, they are the ones who raise up the children. They have been given the responsibility. That's why Al-Qadriyyah has mentioned that the first ever madrasa, the first ever school for the child is the lap of the mother. what he learns from there sticks with him throughout his life. It remains with him till the last breath, so it goes all the way with him. So that's why whatever he learns from the mother has significant role, role in the life of the child. So that's why it's very important for the mother to be mindful of that. So whatever she teaches him, whatever is being taught to the child as a child, and is being recorded in the subconscious of the child, that is what shapes the actual personality of the child. That's why Al-Qadriyyah has mentioned that the building of the life, building of the family, does not start after the wedding. It starts much before that, because you have to look who you're marrying. Hadith Pak has mentioned, and Quran also highlights the importance of khitbah. When you do the khitbah, when you send the offer to marry, it is very appropriate that you send that to the women who you think will be appropriate for you to have a relationship with. So you are allowed, for that reason you are allowed to look. Normally you're not allowed to look at a stranger women. Well, for this purpose, when you are doing khitbah, when you are sending out a message for the wedding, for the marriage, the Sharia allows you to look at her once. But that's only once. That doesn't allow you to date with her and go out and have fun with her, as people have taken this out of proportion, mashallah, in our society. It's a basically allowance made by Sharia that you're allowed to view her, so that when there is an understanding between you, when you know that who you're marrying, then that will pave the way for a better marital life afterwards. And what you need to look for, that is also highlighted in the Hadith Mubarakah. Al-Qadriyyah has mentioned that تُنْكَحُ الْمَرْأَةُ لِأَرْبَعِينَ, that people marry the women for four main reasons that basically attract people to marry a girl or a lady. لِمَالِهَا وَلِجَمَالِهَا وَلِحَسَبِهَا وَلِدِينِهَا. Either you will marry a woman, a lady, a woman, for لِمَالِهَا, for the wealth that she owns. So that will attract, that is a great reason today that people marry wealthy girls now, and the girls, vice versa, they seek to marry the wealthy boys. Yeah, that's the reality which we cannot ignore. So limaliha, so people marry women for the mal, only jamaliha, because the beauty that they have. That's not the truth. They marry each other for the beauty and the attraction, the physical basically attraction that they feel from them. وَلِحَسَبِهَا, or they marry because of the family status in the society. Because of their status in the society. They belong to a family which is honored in the society. No, I don't want to mention any specific caste here, but there are things in our society that you marry that caste and that is a better caste, and this is lower caste. This is only made up, fabricated things. But in reality, Al-Hadith Pak says, وَلِدِينِهَا, or you marry a woman for the deen, because she is learnt in religion and she has better character. It says, فَاظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ. فَاظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ. If you want to become successful and prosperous, then choose the one with the better deen, subhanAllah. And تَرِبَتْ يَدَاكَ, then you will be careless. You will be carefree basically when you do that. Because all of your worries will be removed when you do that. When you choose the one with the better deen, that is what will make you that will pave the way for a better marital life after that. Because she will then be mindful of the rights of the husband. And the husband, if he is the one who is looking for the deen, then it is very likely that he will himself have some knowledge of the Sharia as well. And he will also be mindful of the rights of the women. So it's very important to realize that while the women, they have responsibilities, but they have some shortcomings as well. So you have to make way for that as well. And the Hadith Pak says that while you might dislike some of the elements in the women, while you might dislike some aspects of her character, but there will be other that you will be loving. So based on one thing, you should never seek divorce or separation from her. Just because you don't like one aspect in her character, you should never seek separation from her. Because there might be many others which you will like. Because the devil Hadith Pak said the devil, his most pleasing evil that he spreads in the society is the evil that he spreads among the husband and wife. And every day, Hadith Pak said, every day he has his throne over the water. He lays his throne over the water and he gathers all of his allies, the other devils, and then he inquires from them, what have you done today? What evil have you spread today? And some of them say that I stopped this person from reading namaz, I stopped that person from reading the Quran, and I did this and that. But he's not pleased with that. But one of them stands up, one of the devils, and he says, I caused rift among husband and wife. And he then stands up and kisses that devil. So because this is something which is the cause of ultimate disruption in the society. The entire society of Muslims is based upon this one relationship of husband and wife. That's why you see nowadays the enemies of Islam, they are attacking this institution of marriage within the Muslims. That's what they're attacking. That's why every day you see on the media somebody raising objection on the Islamic system of marriage and Islamic family system, because they know that Islamic society is based upon these norms and values that Islam has taught. This is why very important, my brothers, that we take care of that. So this is only possible when we fulfill each other's rights and when we give up our rights. If everybody tries to only get their share of rights and is not mindful of the others, then that's not how society works. So we have to, at some point, sacrifice our rights for the others and also take care of the rights of our husbands and the wives. It's very important. That's why Hadith Pak has clearly mentioned that for the wife, إذا المرأة إذا صلت خمسها, a wife when she reads 5 daily prayers, 5 नमाज़ें जो औरत पढ़ती है, وصامت شهرها, and she fasts the month of Ramadan, وأحسنت فرجها, and she protects her chastity, and وأطاعت بعلها, and she obeys her husband, فلتدخل من أي أبواب الجنة شاءت, then she will be told on the day of judgment that any door of the Jannah you choose, you can enter from that. Subhanallah. So जो औरत अपने husband की अताअत करती है, same in Urdu as well, जो अपने जो 5 नमाजें पढ़े, सरकार फरमाते हैं 5 यानी खुदा की हुकूक भी पूरे करे, 5 नमाजें पढ़े और रमज़ान के महीने के रोज़े रखे और अपने शौहर की अताअत करे और अपनी जो उसकी चास्टिटी है, अपनी जो उसकी फर्ज है, उसकी गोया कि वो हिफाजत करे, फरमाते हैं कि जिस दरवाजे से चाहे वो दाखिल नहीं करते हैं. सुभान अल्लाह. ऐसे फरमाते हैं when she dies, that a woman أيها امرأة ماتت وزوجها عنها راضٍ, a woman who dies and the husband is happy with her, when she is passing away from the dunya and the husband is happy, then Allah says that دخلت الجنة, she will straight away enter the Jannah. जो औरत बहुत होती है और उसका शौहर से राजी है, तो इस हालत में वो मरती है तो straight away वो जन्नत की हकदार हो जाती है. सुभान अल्लाह. So while there are responsibilities, there are also benefits of fulfilling those rights. So a woman who's fulfilling the rights of the husband, and she's in the obedience, she's in the ta'at of the husband, she is in direct ta'at of Almighty Allah, because that is how she's fulfilling the rights of Almighty Allah as well, and the rights of the makhluk as well. The Hadith Pak also mentions that Sarkar Islam was asked by a man. Hazrat Abu Hurairah narrates that Sarkar Islam was asked that ayyun nisa'i khayr. In terms of the women, you told us to choose the right women. When we seek to wed with them, we need to look for some characteristics. So which women should we choose? Which of them should we choose? He said, التي تسره إذا نظر. When you look at her, she will please you. These are some very important rights that women need to consider. That when the husbands, they look at them, they should be pleased, meaning that they should always meet them with a smile on the face, and they should always be welcoming to the husband. And also when you order her something, she would obey that, unless the order is against the Sharia, because Hadith Pak also mentions that لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق, that you must not obey the makhluk when it amounts to the ma'asiyah, the disobedience of the Lord. So you must avoid that in all circumstances. That you must, while there's a responsibility while there's a duty upon you to obey your husbands, but yet if that leads to the disobedience of Almighty Allah, then that must be avoided. But then again, I need to highlight that the woman, she needs to obey the husband as long as that is in line with the Sharia. وَلَا تُخَالِفُوا فِي نَفْسِهَا وَلَا مَالِهَا بِمَا يَكْرَهُ. And she must not basically dishonor or be dishonest in herself and the mal regarding anything that the husband dislikes. So she needs to protect the rights of the husband in all ways. That's how she can fulfill the rights of the husband. So that's very important. That's why Al-Qadriyyah, Almighty has mentioned that it's very important for the men to be mindful of the rights of the women, because they are the ones who are sustainers of them. But on the other hand, a very burning issue in our society nowadays, my brothers, is that women are seeking help from social services nowadays. So they run away from home and go and seek refuge in social care, and that's how they try to get their rights. While this might feel very attractive for them for the time being, but the end is not a good one. Even in this dunya, they end up in misery and trouble. And the social services, they do not help you. So they instead put you in trouble, further misguidance. But the Islamic viewpoint, let me also tell you that, Islamic viewpoint is that a woman, this book says, a woman who the husband wanted to establish relationship, physical relationship with her, so he invited her to his bed while they were married, mashallah. So he invites his zawja, his legitimate wife, to establish relationship during the night or any point in their life, and she declines. This one action of declining, this book said that if the husband is saqit or saqitun alayha, if he didn't like this, then that means the entire malaika, they will keep cursing her throughout the night until he becomes happy. Similarly, a woman who leaves the house, the malaika, they keep cursing her until she returns. So this is the reality, and the curse of the malaika basically means, and the curse of the makhluk of Allah basically means, you are taken away from the mercy of Almighty Allah. So mercy of Allah, being taken away from the mercy of Allah means that you will never enter Jannah, na'uzubillah, and you will be exposed to the adhab in the life hereafter. That one action of declining the establishment of marital rights, the relationship between husband and wife, the intercourse, declining that, it earns you ultimate curse from the angels, all of the angels of society, the skies and the heavens. What about the women, the lady who runs away from the house and goes in the social care and seeks legal aid, legal help against the husband, when he's not happy with that? What amount of curse is she earning? Can you imagine that? So it's very important, my sisters who are hearing me, who might be present in the back hall or anywhere in the houses, who will listen to this at any point, they need to be mindful of the rights of the husband. That's how only the society can flourish. And while you have a great responsibility of raising up the children, because that is what's the entire purpose of the marriages. And this is Pak say that marry, because I will then express pride upon the increase and great numbers of my ummah. When you will have children and you will raise them according to Islam, the principles of Islam, then that will become a reason of the happiness of Aqa alayhi salam, rida of Aqa alayhi salam. That will earn you the pleasure of Aqa alayhi salam. So it's very important that you be mindful of all of these things. That's why Hadith Pak mentions that 3 people, even if they are very pious, their salat is not accepted. Any of the good deeds that they might do is not accepted by Almighty Allah. One abdun abiq, a servant of a person who has run away from the master, and al-mar'atu sakhita alayha zawjuha, a lady whose husband is not happy, whose husband is angry upon her because of any of the rights that she needed to fulfill, but she has undermined them. So he's unhappy. Then that lady, even if she's performing namaz and all the good deeds, that will not be accepted. Very important that we take care of that. May Allah give us the ability to act upon the Sharia.